of all the things right now that I have to deal with, I've got to have a conversation about a freaking wrinkled tablecloth.
Not only that, but these football guys, they got games. Season's not over yet.
You know,
You're playing Alabama this week. And you're answering emails about tablecloths. It blows me away, man, but I guarantee you it's happening. Guarantee it. This week on the podcast, we see something on social media at LSU that brings us back to some of the more mundane memories of working in sports. Table skirting. It's just one more thing you got to keep up with. Hey, where are the tablecloths? Are they clean?
how long do we need to hang this tablecloth before this presser? How many hours do we have?
Yeah. We'll also offer our take on the YouTube TV Disney dispute and how the Mouse and the SEC put their foot in their mouth during the disagreement that cost fans a college football Saturday.
When corporate takes over and says, everybody push this message out. Just freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're just enraging a lot of people that have been it's already been a hornet's nest on social media for the previous 48 hours.
Right.
And then you're just pouring more gasoline on the fire. F that, man.
With buyouts running rampant and college presidents breaking out the checkbook to pay zombie contracts, we give ADs advice on qualities to look for and what not to look for when they bring in their new guy. We can't believe we're giving this type of stuff out for free.
I'm not going to hire a head coach. That's a piece of shit. A piece of shit to humans. Especially the ones he has power over. Acting like department staff should bow down to every request. Athletic directors, the evidence is out there. Do your research. A winning coach doesn't justify hiring a piece of shit coach.
This is the true story of two washed-up sports guys who chased the dream, private flights, championship rings, running sideline to sideline on per diem and adrenaline.
We gave our 20s and our 30s to the industry, pulled off miracles that were never in the job description. In return, low pay, long hours, and we still got cut from the team.
This is about what really happens behind the badge. The burnout, the bad bosses, the dream job that didn't love you back, but also the lifelong friendships, the chaos, the holy shit stories you couldn't make up. And somehow, despite everything, you'd still do parts of it all over again.
This is one for the ones who lived it, loved it, hated it, and still kind of miss it. For everyone who's ever asked, how in the hell did we survive that? We're two former sports insiders with more than 40 years of experience and more than enough scars to make fun of it all.
And just enough trauma to start a podcast instead of going to therapy.
I'm Brandon Barca.
And I'm Andy Boggs.
And this is No Longer Credentialed. We once had access, now we have opinions.
LSU has had a lot of press conferences here lately, but we saw something on Twitter that got our attention, especially since we put on our fair share in the past. Barca, tell them what we saw.
Oh man, the story has everything, Boggsy. You are going to love this.
Yes.
We've got fired coaches, fired ADs, power-hungry politicians, and our pets' heads are falling off.
Yeah.
I think this topic right here is something we can all relate to. If you've ever worked in sports, getting ready for that major press conference announcement, and all the dumb things we had to do to put on a show for the university and the suits. As Wayne Campbell once said, we're crossing the T's and dotting the lowercase J's. God, I love Wayne's World too. There's so much to do in so little time, and honestly, it can be highly stressful for those of us burning the midnight oil. But this one tweet did make me chuckle, and I wanted to bring it to your attention. It was by @VernFunquist. Great handle name, by the way. Posted a quote from LSU's interim AD at a recent presser. This is LSU. We are not broken. Unfortunately for our comms comrades at LSU, the photo accompanying the "we are not broken" tweet caught the eyes of trolls. Did you see this photo, Boggsy?
I did. Oh, these poor LSU comms people, man. They've been through the ringer, and now they get hated on because their skirting is all screwed up.
It was all wrinkled to hell. Poor table
So
skirt. Creases
funny.
everywhere. We've been there before.
Oh.
It's kind of like when you're in college and you're too lazy to fold your clothes after you get them out of the residence hall dryers. So after a few days, your clothes are all wrinkled on the floor in the corner of your dorm room with maybe a couple of empty Papa John's pizza boxes laying on them. Has this ever happened to you, Boggsy, with a table skirt for a big presser?
I'm sure there's been plenty wrinkled table skirts in my career. Man, what a pain in the neck that all was. Sometimes you had to hang something on the front of it. If I remember, like you'd put like a star, like our logo would go on the front, or you'd have to go get balloons from some wherever for the what would you guys do with those balloons, Barca? Like the
Balloon arches, man.
the balloon arches, yeah.
Oh,
Just why are we doing this?
incredible. They got to be in school colors, a lot of pride. You have
Yeah.
to be towering over this stage. It has to look like a major event, and it looks like a kid's birthday party.
Yeah, it's just one more thing you got to keep up with. Hey, where are the tablecloths? Are they clean?
How long do we need to hang this tablecloth before this presser? How many hours do we have?
Yeah. And then, I don't want to get too far off tangent, but then you would have them in your media room. You would have tablecloths, and they would be so messy. Pizza sauce or spaghetti sauce or mayonnaise or mustard. And you're having to figure out, like, all right, I got to get these things clean. I got a game in 2 days. Well, what am I going to do? I mean, luckily, I think we'd send them off to get them dry cleaned every once in a while, especially when they're really bad. But man, just one more thing you got to keep up with.
Or if it had those
stupid
stains.
tablecloths.
If
Man, they
if
would
it had the
always have
stains,
stains.
you're like rotating it around. You're
Yes.
like, maybe I can get away with
Yes,
this
100%.
if I just put it on this backside.
Yeah, it's like these media members could care less about what they eat on. They could eat on a floor as long as the food's good. And man, we graduated. We kind of went away from that, and we started getting those plastic ones that wrapped around at least in the media room to eat. You remember those, right? They
do.
weren't as fancy, so you could take them off and actually you just spray them down. You could they're actually pretty good, but they weren't fancy by any stretch of the imagination. But man, what another thing to keep up with.
I just despise table skirts at marketing events, at press conferences, at bridal shows.
Yeah.
You're scrambling around to get all that work done to prepare for this big press conference, and it really is probably one of the easiest things to overlook in the moment. But these things wrinkle no matter what, no matter how you take care of them. Fold them up in a bin, hang them, steam them, whatever. To me, there's got to be, we're in 2025, a better way to decorate a table.
Yeah. Again, I just go back to those guys putting the dang press conferences on. You had a fired coach. You had the governor talking about everything, and then you have an AD. And I think recently the new president, who's been around for 8 days now, 8 days, he said, they just re-upped their interim AD to become the full-time guy. He's like, I don't know if I want him to be in that position, so they may be walking that back. So it's just one thing after another. You're coming to work there every day. I can't imagine what those guys are thinking. Man.
And they also sold their dead bird to a blind kid named Petey.
That's right.
Just all the craziness going on. And sometimes through the hardest things that happen, and you probably, if you're working there, you see this tweet online, and you're just like,
yeah,
come on, people, man. You just want to poke your eyeball with a fork. But I did pull some of my favorite comments from the internet trolls. Sometimes you just got to laugh these things out, no matter how miserable times can be. And so here are a couple I pulled from the internet trolls. First, it just means more wrinkles. As an admissions professional, this tablecloth is pissing me off.
Yeah, I can see that.
If there's anybody that knows, if there's anybody that's more on the edge about tablecloths, it's probably admissions professionals.
Yeah, no doubt.
Next one.
No doubt.
Did the budget for an iron tablecloth get cut to pay the buyouts?
Probably so.
It
That's a
needs
good
to be
one.
asked.
Yeah.
And finally, your all may not be broken, but apparently your iron is. Oh, deep burn. People are just ruthless on social media, Boxy.
You know what's crazy, too, and I just thought about this. You know there were probably meetings about this. Your external guy probably emailed the football comms guy and like, hey, let's have a meeting about the skirting. Like, we got to get this thing straightened out. I guarantee there's a Slack or an email chain about those tablecloths in their inbox today. Guaranteed.
Yeah, after the
Guaranteed.
presser.
After the presser.
Yeah.
They see this on social media. They have questions about table skirting. They've never thought about table skirting in the history of their athletic department career. Now they're going to email you and Slack you about why this looked the way it did.
Hey, Bobby, can you fill me in for a second on the process for acquiring and putting on our table skirts?
Do we need a new vendor for our tablecloths, or what is our budget for tablecloths? Who do we take it to get them cleaned? I could go on forever. You could too.
It's stupid shit like this.
Yeah,
stupid shit like this
crazy.
that then follows up. It's just like one person up above sees it, and it's like then it goes down the chain, and it ends up in your inbox, and you're like,
yep.
You're like, of all the things right now that I have to deal with, I've got to have a conversation about a freaking wrinkled tablecloth.
Not only that, but these football guys, they got games. Season's not over yet. You're playing Alabama this week, and you're answering emails about tablecloths. It blows me away, man. But I guarantee you, it's happening. Guarantee it.
Half joking here.
Yeah.
But maybe this is a sign of a larger issue. Like maybe all of the good people in sports are just leaving the industry in masses. Should we do those things correlate?
Yeah. I mean, it's so you're basically saying that there's not enough good people out there to realize about the skirting.
Hey.
Yeah.
I see the data on one side, and then I see these things happen. I don't know if they're related.
Yeah. I think there's a correlation.
But our comms people need some help. They're understaffed, undermanned.
Man,
their table skirts are falling apart.
Those dudes, and they are not, and women, they are not sleeping right now. There's just no sleep
I miss
in Baton
those
Rouge
days.
right now. No sleep, and God bless them. Keep plugging. We're thinking about you.
Pouring one out.
Pouring one out.
All right, Boggsy, let's move on to the next current topic. This one, I have a feeling there's going to be more smoke coming out of your ears and less laughs like the last segment.
Yeah. So we're as disappointed as anybody when it comes to the YouTube TV Disney standoff that kept college and pro football off of YouTube TV on November 1st. But something that we were even more disappointed in was this: ESPN personalities and the commissioner of the SEC acting as Disney corporate shills to persuade fans to wage complaints, and in Sankey's case, actually switch providers. To Pat McAfee's credit, and mainly because he has juice that ESPN cannot deny, he called them out on it. What good is a tweet from a PR person or Laura Rutledge going to do in these negotiations? If you said none, you have the right answer. I have a lot of thoughts on this, Barca, but read some of these tweets and then read McAfee's response. Good for him for calling out greedy and tone-deaf messaging from his colleagues at ESPN.
Hey, if there's anything we learned about Pat McAfee in his ESPN stint so far, and he is one of the few people in all of sports that could make this move and say this stuff publicly. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's got juice.
He does. He does. But there's one thing that bugs him the most, it seems, at least from all these headlines that I read about him, is senior management, leadership, suits dictating things. He seems to hate the hell out of it. So I can understand where he's coming from on this. So props to him for calling it out. You know, this is the same old tale, right? The consumer always loses in a corporate stalemate like this. And shame on Disney and ESPN, their corporate management, for coordinating a social media hit campaign with their top employees shilling for the company, like you said. And sure, hey, look, some of these employees have no choice but to kiss the ring. We've been there before when we've had to put out company messaging. We've got no power. So, but like you said, it's just completely tone deaf. And ESPN really used it as a tactic to control the public narrative while leveraging negotiations and holding a highly rated college football Saturday hostage, acting like they don't have any blame in this. We know what ESPN's been doing for years. They've been squeezing cable networks for decades to carry their channel, and they pulled the plug at the most advantageous time for them. And hey, they've gotten back a little momentum lately by launching their new streaming app a few months ago. They acquire NFL Network while selling 10% of their stake to the NFL. Still mind-boggling to me. They also acquired WWE. And something that broke a little bit earlier today as we're recording, we're not going to mention the ESPN bet failure. And but don't worry.
That was so going to work, Barca. I'm so shocked.
It was like ESPN phone, you know?
Yeah.
But don't worry, DraftKings is here to save the day. And so Disney's next move in all of this is like, hey, we're feeling ourselves a little bit. Let's go after one of the popular carriers out there like YouTube TV. Let's shake them down for more money because they feel like YouTube TV is not paying a fair market share. And look, I'm not saying YouTube TV doesn't have any fault in this, but it just goes to show you again that we're in a dirty business. And negotiations like this bring out the worst in these greedy billion-dollar corporations. And by the time this episode airs, I would hope to think that this stalemate, this negotiation is over. But again, Boggsy, the fans are always the losers in these disputes.
They are. You know, and also, too, some of these ESPN announcers are losers, too. I mean, Scott Van Pelt has talked about how his Twitter mentions are just exploding, basically taking him to task for doing what he did. He's had to silence or put some of his followers, mute them, because it's been so, horrible. Some of the comments he's been getting, just really personal things. And so we're not the first people to talk about this, but it really is shameful for those guys. And I have something else too. And
I want to say though, that Saturday morning when game day was on and football was on, I was so fired up and pissed off when I was seeing all these tweets get put out there. And you're going to get into the Sankey stuff here in a minute.
Yeah.
But over and over and over again, I knew exactly what was happening.
Yep.
When corporate takes over and says, everybody push this message out. Just freaking ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're just enraging a lot of people that have been it's already been a hornet's nest on social media for the previous 48 hours.
Right.
And then you're just pouring more gasoline on the fire. F that, man.
And like McAfee said, like what? They're not going to make any difference in these negotiations. This Scott Van Pelt or Laura Rutledge or some PR person or Mike Greenberg or whoever, they're not going to make any difference. So you're going to log onto a website and tell them to negotiate. Well, big deal. That doesn't matter.
And you're going to piss off your own talent in the long run, as we're seeing with the Van Pelt quote.
Yeah, I mean, just you're kind of throwing them under the bus too. They're not making any decisions here on whether this thing gets fixed. And so, but Sankey doing what he did, dude, this guy, man, and it really chaps me when he gets into the middle of this. So ESPN strokes him and his league a check. But why can't he stay above the fray like the ACC commissioner and just let the whole process play out? Hey, if you had YouTube TV, you missed out on Clemson losing at home to Duke for the first time in over 30 years, and Miami cristobaling another promising season down the drain, which I must admit as a Florida State fan was very satisfying. But you didn't hear anything from Jim Phillips, their commissioner, tweeting for Disney about it. Stanky's stance is so short-sighted and honestly so gross that he needs to be called out on it. But honestly, it's not entirely shocking. ESPN dictates all of their football game times. They dictate broadcast assignments. They dictate all of their marketing efforts. And if you ask me, the SEC struggles to be its own entity. they fail to realize, like Sankey did with his ESPN rah-rah crap, that they hold all of the cards, not ESPN, and that although ESPN strokes a big check for content, it's not nearly big enough for what they're getting, and that in the recent past, the league has been taken to the cleaners on television deals. Like we've mentioned on the show before, the Big Ten is doing circles around the SEC when it comes to television revenue for their schools. And think about this. Who needs the SEC more than anyone? Disney, the mouse. What would they do with Saturday content in the fall? Sure, the ACC has compelling matchups every now and then, as does the Big 12 and some of their Group of 5 content, but it's not the SEC. It doesn't even compare. And maybe this is Sankey playing chess with Disney to get on their good side so they'll commit more to a television contract in the future. But I don't want to give him that much credit. It was just a tone-deaf plea for the mouse because some ESPN exec told him to do it, just like they tell him to do anything else associated with his league. As you can tell, Barca, this really fires me up because it's really stupid, short-sighted, and makes him look like a Disney pud. But maybe that's who he is.
Hey,
Barca, it just makes me so mad.
I'm kind of still mad about it all. And my advice to Greg Sankey, he probably doesn't give a flip.
Nope.
Stay off Twitter. Nobody cares what your rich ass has to say.
Yep.
And that tweet that he posted had over 1,000 comments on it. And I didn't even count the share comments on top of that. I mean, that is freaking insane.
Yeah.
And that shows you how pissed off people were. And when you hear the quotes from Scott Van Pelt, these are the same things they're getting. And let me read you some of these tweets. And these are probably some of the nicer ones because we're a family show here at No Longer Credentialed.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go. 1, shut up, you corporate shill. Bro just got a fat check from Disney.
Yeah.
Didn't think I'd see our conference getting on their knees for Disney. I am still shocked at how arrogant and out of touch this response is. It's insane to see a conference commissioner shilling for a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I don't know, Bugsy, in this one. Is it really insane?
No. It's not.
All-time grifting tweet from this a-hole. And this one.
Yeah.
You are ruining college football and don't feel any shame.
That's the last one. That's so deep. If you sit there and you think about that for a little while, I mean, it's throughout the whole universe of college football. Like this guy's greed and the conference's greed has just ruined a lot of things about college football. And it just drives me nuts, man. Like, just stay out of it. And again, in 4 years when your contract's up or whenever they're 2034 or who knows if there's even an SEC in 2034. But, I mean, you're going to be out on the market again. Like, who cares?
Yeah, YouTube TV had a good thing going for them for a while now as, you know, as I've gone to a friends and watched games and just been blown away by the multi-view that you can do all across YouTube TV. And now ESPN launches their own app, and they've got multi-view as well now in the last month or two. But it can only be on, you know, ESPN, Disney-owned networks.
Right.
So they're probably sitting there, you know, they've made deals. Who didn't make a deal with Fox on the streaming bundle?
Yeah.
And so they're making all these deals on the side, you know. I'm not going to call them a monopoly, but now they're sitting there and they're looking at YouTube TV and they're saying, hey, are these guys paying their fair share to get this product? Just makes me sick.
I also heard something today that YouTube TV probably by the end of next year is going to become the #1 pay TV distributor in America. Better than Comcast, better than DirecTV, better than Dish. They're going to be the #1 outlet. And so they want to be treated like that. ESPN doesn't want to do that. And honestly, Barker, we've talked about Justin Connolly before, but that guy's behind the scenes pulling some levers too to make sure they get what they deserve at YouTube TV. And there's probably some acrimony going on there. That's probably one of the reasons why maybe this thing hasn't been done yet. I'm just speculating. But I don't think there's a lot of love between those two parties anymore, Connolly and ESPN.
And who knows if it's, apples to apples or apples to oranges based on the first weekend of ratings that have come through. Obviously, different things affect on which sports get ratings on Saturdays week to week and what other competition there is on TV, for example, the World Series. But, some of the early indications, some of the numbers were down a little bit and affected, and not only game day, but on, ABC's games and ESPN's games as well. So curious to see if this extends into weekend number 2. Like I said, when this pod comes out,
Hopefully it's done.
Hopefully it is.
I mean, their noon game was down and their evening game was down. The Tennessee game was down. But they also were competing against a World Series game that had 27 million people tune in. And honestly, I didn't watch much of the Tennessee game. I was watching the World Series.
Yep.
So you did have that going on, but it didn't help matters. Definitely didn't help. And, I don't know. It's just the SEC ESPN thing. SEC doesn't need ESPN. They just don't. And I wonder when there's going to come to a day when they're going to realize that. I don't know.
This is just some PR advice to these corporate fat cats and big wigs out there. The last thing you want to tell people when you start randomly blacking out or pulling channels from a subscription, from another company's subscription, is telling them how they can fix this situation by leaving their current subscriber, because we're all set in our ways. And the last thing I want to do is, if I'm a YouTube TV subscriber, is to cancel the subscription and then go into this whole nother world. You're just pissing people off when you're making them do something that is out of their, current regimen.
It's just a pain in the neck, man. It's a pain to have to quit YouTube TV and go find Fubo, or they want you to go to Hulu Plus or what? Fubo, I think they own Fubo now too, so they want you to go to these other places. It really is some monopoly stuff going on. It makes you think about that they just want you to go to something owned by Disney to get these games.
Yeah,
it's
no
something
doubt
to think about.
And to McAfee's point as well, it's like, man, it's difficult right now with all the different streaming apps. You could have 5 or 10 different streaming packages now. When you look, we can sit here and list them all and spend an hour on it. And it's just so difficult for the consumer right now. The original idea behind all of this was cable packages were so outrageous. And so now we're getting all these a la cartes. And it seemed like people were playing together. And it seemed like there were cost savings, and guess what's happened years down the road now? I have to think all of these things are now way more expensive than what originally cable was. And all these people are fighting for the same dollars.
Just
but
want money.
Can we not figure out a way to make this easier?
Yeah, they should be able to figure it out. I think I saw YouTube TV started at $50 or $51, and now it's like $85 or $83 or... a lot of that cost is probably Disney. I mean, they've said, hey, if this lasts a long time, we'll give you $20 back, YouTube TV subscriber every month. So, I don't know, man. It's just, the greed is just kind of overwhelming, and, it is what it is.
Sponsored by...
Today's show is sponsored by Drape Daddies. Work in a big-time conference and your football coach and athletic director just got canned? No better time to circle the wagons and convince everyone the department's not on fire. Everything's fine. With so much chaos, who's got time for the little things? Like ironing that table skirt that's been crumpled in a storage bin since Les Miles was out grazing turf like a damn lawn goat. After all, it just means more laundry bills, especially when you just dropped $50 million in buyouts. Got to cut costs somewhere, right? That's where we come in. Drape Daddies, the official tablecloth provider for programs in crisis. We employ our finest unpaid interns to stand on every corner, full body weight, full coverage, zero benefits, 24/7, and 60% of the time, it works every time. That's Brian Fantana math. Hey, at least we're not paying them to sew next year's uniforms in a third world sweatshop. Drape daddies, because when your athletic department's falling apart, the table skirt shouldn't look like it.
Loved every second of you reading that, Boggs.
I know. Lots of experience with the table skirts.
Come on down to Drape Daddies.
Yeah.
Get your 2-for-1s. All right, this next one's going to go a little off the rails. It's not going to make a lot of sense, but you know what? Sometimes I write these things just to please myself.
Yeah.
No Longer Credentialed is also funded by the Deep Pockets at the Stapler Meltdown. Has anybody seen my stapler? We had one this morning. I saw it. It was right there, sitting next to a dormant fax machine that hasn't made that screeching dial tone since 2008. Who took it? Randy. Randy, did you take it? Don't look at me like that. You've got that face, that I borrow office supplies and don't return them face. There are rules, Randy, rules. Come on now. Everybody, seriously. Who has seen the stapler? We've got piles of paper, mountains of them, and I'm sitting here raw dogging loose sheets like an animal. We need a frickin' stapler, people, with staples. Hell, I don't even know what size the staplers are that go in there. I just jam the blocks in there until something clicks or breaks. Rhonda, I noticed those ripped out staples sitting on your desk. You clawed them out with your long-ass nails, didn't you? Because the staple remover's gone too. You think I wouldn't connect the dots, Rhonda? Hey, Tanner. Don't look away, Tanner. Did you use it for your Halloween costume again? Crazy stapler head guy? You think you're Adam Sandler, don't you, Tanner? You're not. You're a man with a stolen office stapler and a very twisted mind. Or maybe it was Milton. Yeah, maybe Milton took it home again. Down there in the basement, stroking that little red swing line, whispering about how he's going to burn this place into the ground. Well, I'll tell you what. This show, No Longer Credentialed, doesn't move forward until we find that stapler. I mean it this time. No stapler, no show, ever again. Serenity now. Boggs.
Dude.
There's always that one person in the office hoarding office supplies.
I kind of wish I knew what you were talking about, but I really don't.
I'm on a different planet.
Yes.
Didn't you ever have those times in the office where you're looking for supplies on something? Maybe it was Post-it notes, maybe some Sharpies, and someone's taken the stapler.
Yeah.
It's not in the office supply closet, and it's randomly sitting on someone's desk, probably under a bunch of papers.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember having some issues like that. But we did have a couple of colleagues. We had one colleague in particular who made sure all of our office supplies were in the right place. So we didn't have a lot of those issues because he kept track of all that stuff. But yeah, every once in a while you couldn't find a stapler or tape. Tape was the big one for me. I always needed tape to put down name placards or hang up whatever. I had to hoard my own tape because, you know, if I didn't have tape, I couldn't hang up what I needed to hang up, and I needed to hang up stuff.
And then you have some of the people like me that probably just went out and bought some of my own supplies. Probably kept them locked up in my drawers.
Yeah.
Because I'm
Smart.
like, I know that it will always be here like tape when I need it.
Yep.
But I remember the times with the staples. Do you ever remember just being like, all right, the stapler is out of staples. I've got to figure out how I'm going to refill this. And then you'd go and you'd find these boxes and there'd be different size staplers. No? No,
I would always have issues with the staples in the copy machine.
Yeah.
Where they would run out, like I'm making 35 copies of like a 50-page packet, and like halfway through, it's like, oh, out of staples. Like, Plus, I didn't really know what I was doing, putting the staples back into the copier, so I would have to call somebody to come in and help me fix it, or text somebody like, hey, can you come and help me with the staples?
I was about to say, you having no recollection of any of this tells me that you basically had administrative assistants doing all of your dirty work.
Yeah.
Or just meaningless tasks.
Or I was hoarding all the shit that you're talking about. Buried amongst all the papers.
You bastard!
Yeah.
It was you!
Maybe that was me.
I was sitting here blaming Tanner and Rhonda.
You should just sub that for Boggs.
Podcast. You get it.
Okay, Barker, let's quickly touch on a topic near and dear to our hearts. Coaches' buyouts. And maybe this leads into a bigger topic about our experiences with coaches. Halfway through the 2025 college football regular season, the combined cost of fired coaches' buyouts could well exceed $200 million, according to Stuart Mandel of The Athletic. Before Penn State fired James Franklin, only two schools, Texas A&M and Auburn, that's Jimbo Fisher and Gus Malzahn, had ever paid more than a $20 million buyout. According to USA Today's coaching salary database, none of the 30 highest paid coaches in the country have a buyout of less than $20 million. According to Front Office Sports, since the 2014 season, the first time the CFP was implemented and officially replaced the Bowl Championship Series. Oh, do you remember those days, Barca? Severance pay for FBS coaches at public universities is nearing $1 billion, according to data in a new report from the Knight Commission on Intercollegiate Athletics. So that got us thinking. We're definitely not qualified to hire a football head coach and pay him millions, but here are a few qualities we'd like to see or not see if we were making the hire.
We're going to have fun with this one.
Yeah. So, Barca, I'll go first. The first one to me is just don't alienate your fan base on social media, which I've seen happen. I don't mind some Lane Kiffin-type trolling and honesty. That is entertaining. But don't call out your fans for not showing up or not supporting your team or assigning certain qualities of your fan base, that they're cheap or hateful or have certain cultural or political leanings. Just don't do it. You need all the fans you can get. Don't shoot yourself in the foot.
Hey, have you ever heard of coaches that are so thin-skinned that they'll even go after fans in the DMs?
Oh, yeah. I've seen it. 100%. Like, don't do it. Don't do it.
Those things do happen, and it just blows my mind. You know, this touches on another thing that you mentioned about supporting the team that I hate when coaches do this. Is that when their struggling program gets a few wins, you can guarantee that in the coach's next midweek presser, they'll allude to hoping fans show up and show out at that next home game and support the team.
Every time.
It's like clockwork.
Yeah.
I always wait for that quote, you know. We just got to hope our fans show up and support the team this week. We need a full crowd with energy if we're going to keep this thing going. Same coach speak. You know what, coach? How about just winning and the fans will show up? I promise you, that's how it happens.
Yep.
You just expect some of these fan bases to come on out overnight because you get one or two big wins, storm the field after a few years of disappointment. I get it. The crowd energizes the players and also the recruits in attendance, but spare me the it's time to support the team BS. Save that worn out coach speak for your own team meetings and not public forums. If I'm hiring a coach, I'm making sure that they're not spewing this garbage.
It's like it flows through their veins, though. Like it's just second nature to them to talk like this. And you could almost write the script. You could probably plug that in at 20 different places around America, and
it's in their manual. It's in their playbook.
It's in the playbook, and just we don't want somebody that's going to do that. That's just, you don't, I don't. So, all right, I'm going to go on to number 2, Barca. This one is, I don't know, this happens a lot, but can they pay attention to what's going on outside of their sport just a little bit? I don't need you to be an expert on the Revolutionary War, be able to take pie out to a million places. Can you be a normal human and just talk about what you like to eat, what happened in the World Series, how many airheads you can eat in one sitting? Have you had a valve leak on your toilet? and you had to change it, just anything to make you more relatable. Most of us have a foot in the real world, so would it hurt our new coach to do the same? It really goes a long way to having people like and respect you.
There's nothing more refreshing than passing the coach in the hallway and having a normal conversation.
Right.
Or even in those boring-ass weekly press conferences. We are all humans. I know you got to put on this front. You're getting paid millions of dollars, and the team expects you to win. But there's a human element to things, too.
Yeah, just be normal. You know, you don't have to know a lot about everything, but just know a little bit. Like, know what day it is. Some of these guys don't even know what day it is. And they've got the blinders on, and for them to, like you said, for them to be able to chat with you about, you know, their favorite baseball team, or, you know, where they like to go eat with their family, or, I mean, that's kind of refreshing when you're inside the walls of a building, because it actually makes these people out to be real people. So that's what I want from a coach. Be able to have a normal conversation with people in the department.
Don't be a robot. Loosen up.
Don't
Something
be a
we'll
robot.
talk about a little bit later on.
Yeah.
All right, Boggsy, I'm going to jump in here. I got a lot to say on this one. We're going to have some fun. Number one on my list, I'm not going to hire a head coach. That's a piece of shit. A piece of shit to humans, especially the ones he has power over, cursing out assistants on the sidelines, belittling and threatening players, barring their own staff from meetings and practice, berating beat writers because they don't like the headlines, threatening national recruiting analysts, acting like department staff should bow down to every request. Athletic directors, the evidence is out there. Do your research. A winning coach doesn't justify hiring a piece of shit coach.
It's so amazing, Barca, that people don't do their due diligence. I mean, it's not even that hard to do. I mean, you can watch TV and figure out how people act, or pick up the phone and call somebody. You got to know somebody that's with these coaches, and don't hire them if they suck. If they're bad people, if they're shitty people, if they treat people bad, don't hire them. Go find somebody else. But, you know, like we say all the time, there's a lot of ADs that look the other way if you're winning games. And, man, I think it's just horrible for your department, because sometimes those wins stop coming. And when they stop coming, then it's brutal. Brutal.
You know what? I'm going to do a little favor here.
Yeah.
For these absurd consulting firms and for athletic directors to help them with their next big coaching search.
Yeah.
And my interview questions that I'm going to give them, I wrote them like Tim Robinson from I Think You Should Leave, got hired to run the process. Boggsy, do you want to hear my simple list of questions to weed out these bad guys?
To hear these questions. I can't believe you're giving people this for free.
Just
Honestly.
remember that, people, when it's my birthday.
That's right.
Or it's the holidays.
Yeah. And when our ad checks don't clear.
All right. Question one that we're going to be asking these head coaches, these candidates in our search. Are you a piece of shit? Follow-up question number 2. Did you used to be a piece of shit? Even better, question 3. Are you a reformed piece of shit? And finally, we're going to wrap up this coach interview with number 4. Do you plan on being a piece of shit in the future?
Oh, man.
I used to be a piece of shit, but I'm not a piece of shit anymore.
I'm reformed. I'm a reformed piece of shit.
I'm not a piece of shit anymore.
Oh, my gosh.
I used to be a piece of shit.
It's so funny. I mean,
Then I got that $50 million buyout. I'm not a piece of shit no more.
Man.
That's going to weed them out, Boggs.
It really is. And I think the bottom line is you can find somebody out there who's not a piece of shit and is also a good coach, right? You can do it. It's not hard. But you got to ask Barkus 4 questions in the interview process to get to the bottom of this important question that we need answers to.
Can you imagine reading that job description?
Be
Looking for
hilarious.
someone that's not a piece of shit. Experience.
That would go over well with our HR department. HR would love us. Got to somehow put this in. Can you corporate speak this for me? We don't want a piece of shit.
Do you want me to run to my next one?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Number 2. I'm not going to hire a head coach that's strutting around in Armani suits. Hey, look, people, I like fashion. But when it comes to head coaches, I don't give a flip about your fit, your style, or how you are spending your generational wealth. Shit, I don't even care about the limited edition sneakers you're flaunting on the sidelines. Sure, some of this, not all of it, can be related to ego, but it's a sign to me. If you as a coach are hell-bent on selling everyone on how slick you are, then my school is not for you, my friend. Hit the road and the fashion runway instead.
Man, so true. All of it is just so true. It's changed a lot, though, at least in the basketball space, because these guys don't wear suits anymore. You know, Patino does. Can you think of any?
Hey, I like suits.
I do. I like
it's
suits.
The dress to the nines, the real flashy over the top, like pretty boy type stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Come on.
That just tells me your priorities are kind of in a different place than where they need to be in our
hair
department.
slick back, sloppy steaks. You know
Steaks.
the kind of guy.
Yeah.
We've worked with some of those types of people before.
Yeah.
We've been on social teams that have just been like, man, check out the fit check, this and that.
Like, it's all they would talk about.
I can't do it. I can't do it anymore,
it's just
man.
So brutal.
I can't, nobody cares about the fit stuff.
No,
Nobody.
Again, it gets back to an old episode where we're just blowing up the ego of our coach and not really doing what we can for our kids. Just taking away opportunities. Seriously. All right, my next one. This is a big one, and it kind of goes along with your don't be a piece of shit, but just be accommodating. When someone different comes on the road, welcome them, speak to them, let them crush your pregame meal, give them gear. It's not overly hard to be welcoming to other people. And Bark, I have a story. I once had a coach who was super welcoming to everyone in the department and to, frankly, everyone he came in contact with. Before games, even on the road, he'd shake the hand of everyone on press row. Everyone. He didn't win as much as we all wanted him to, but people liked being around him, and I honestly think it made everyone's long hours a little more tolerable. Those people keeping score or doing stats or marketing the game are missing dinner with their families too, and he made you feel appreciated. How hard is that?
Man, it falls in line with having a personality, just being a human, being a normal person. And that stuff goes a long way, I think. Ultimately, like you said, it all comes down to winning.
Yeah.
I'm still working hard at my job, but you think of all the people around you. If you treat them well, you care about them, you're not just doing lip service, I think it raises the morale around the people that work around you. And I think they work even harder for success.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I think also, too, what it did for this particular coach, it actually got him another year, I think. I think it got him another year being the coach. Like, he didn't win as much, but he was so nice to people. Internally, externally, no one had a bad word to say about him. I think it got him another year. Even the media loved him. They hated when he got fired. And it just goes a long way, man. Like, why not live that way? We don't have to be a dick. Just treat people with respect.
Amen, brother. Amen, brother. Give us another one.
Okay, this is one that for a comms person. Trust the media and respect them and their jobs. They're not out to get you. At least most of them aren't. They're doing a job. Help them do it, and it goes a long way in the way you're perceived. Make yourself available to people who cover you every day. Make some ground rules and let your media come to practice and watch. You're not keeping world secrets. If anything, maybe a media member could use it in a story about how you practice that special play. This is a big one for me, man, because I think we take everything just too seriously. And I think if you communicated on the front end, hey, these are the rules, no tweeting, no whatever at practice, and but I'll let you come and watch as much as you want. And here, if you break the rules, we'll kick you out. But, up until then, we're going to give you the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to trust you that you can do your job. It just goes a long way. We just don't see that anymore. Barca, there was a coach that I worked with once. All of the practices were open. They were open to the public. He would have football practices. There'd be 5,000 people at a practice on a random Thursday. And he wouldn't even be on the field. He'd be in the stands talking to fans, shaking hands, kissing babies. I mean, he won a lot of games. Dude, it's just not that big of a deal. You're not keeping world secrets. You're playing a game. Let people come in and cover your program, and it pays off in the long run.
Man, these coaches, there's a lot of stress and pressure to win, and they can get really paranoid.
Yeah.
I remember coaches after games wanting to take game trackers off the website.
Yeah, I remember that.
With stats, just because they didn't want other teams to have a statistical advantage. And these are the things that consume coaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. With media, hey, look, this coach, you got to have thick skin.
Yeah.
There are going to be things written about you that you can't control, that you think are wrong, that you think are inaccurate. You can't control the narrative.
Yeah.
Now, can you build a personal relationship with this reporter and have a conversation on the side, or just hey, I didn't think this one was fair and this and that, without threatening them or going after them? Yes.
Yeah.
They've got a job to do the same way you have a job to do. And
yeah.
Honestly, building that relationship with those media members, most of the time, is going to help you out a little bit more in the long run when bad news hits.
100%.
You shun them and don't allow them to do their job and berate them, like I said, whether you're a recruiting analyst or, wanting to call an editor because of a bad headline.
Mm-hmm.
Man, over time, man, that shit doesn't fly.
They're going to come and get you.
They are.
I had an AD once said, don't pick a fight with someone who has ink by the barrel. And,
True.
That's kind of an old-fashioned saying these days since no one reads newspapers. But it's really true. These guys can control your narrative. If you treat them like shit, they could treat you like shit right back. It could affect your recruiting, it could affect your ticket sales, it could affect your crowds. It could affect a lot of things, man. It's just not worth it.
And I think it's tough for coaches at times because, like any relationship in life, personal relationship, if you've been around certain people for a couple of years and they keep peppering you with questions and questions about this or that, and maybe you let it go for months or a year or two, and then eventually it just builds up. And it can be easy to kind of explode or say something completely rude that then ends up getting broadcast to everyone, and then it's used as a highlight on SportsCenter and all of those things. And so it's difficult sometimes having thick skin because, man, a lot of times I didn't have thick skin, and I would just go off of maybe one simple thing that wasn't a big deal, but it was maybe 20 things that led up to that over time. And so it's tough for coaches, but again, maybe just have somebody by your side that you trust and that you can believe in, that can just sit there and kind of talk you off the ledge as much as possible.
Doubt.
This ain't the battle you want to fight.
It. At the end of the day, it's just not worth it. All right, you want to go?
Yeah. Let's see what else I got on the list. Oh yeah. This one hits home a little bit too. And again, this is more just fun stuff that we talk about. An AD is not using this to determine whether they hire a coach or not. But I'm not going to hire a head coach that meddles in marketing and comms or even the ticketing department. You coach the team. Just do your job. That's the same thing you preach to your players every day. Do your job.
Mm-hmm.
And let the rest of us in other departments do our job. It's like that story that Eric Jones had in episode 2 about a coach forcing his way into the ticket office every day and even getting their own key that nobody really knew how this coach got a key into the ticket office. Or coaches sitting in on weekly marketing meetings asking about day-to-day initiatives going on. You know, one time I even had a coach so worried about attendance, they wanted me to take a photo on the field, a panoramic one, pregame of the lower bowl, just to be able to use it to then throw marketing coworkers under the bus to show people weren't showing up early enough. I've got no problem when coaches want to provide input on things that, you know, affect their overall personal brand and image, or maybe a massive campaign, marketing campaign to promote the team. But hey, coach, I got a message for you. Don't worry, buddy. We will loop you in on those things when we need you. You've got bigger fish to fry. You can't put your fingerprints on everything. Get out of the damn weeds because it will destroy you.
Yeah, and it kind of goes back to our talk about power with coaches, and they've just been allowed to do this stuff in college athletics, at least what I've been around for a long, long time, and it doesn't help matters when you send your significant other or one of your staffers into a marketing meeting and they just raise holy hell about the stuff that you're doing or you're not doing. Just doesn't make anybody feel good. Like I'm not showing you how to run a backdoor cut to get a bucket at the end of the game. I'm not telling you what zone defense to run or pick up a full court press or, you know, run a triple option here or pass or run. Or I'm not telling you any of that stuff. So leave us alone. Let us do our job. And, you know, like you said, we'll fill you in when we need you.
It's the worst, man. It's the worst. Okay. I think this is my favorite one and probably the most true of the bunch. A tactic that I would be taking today. I'm not going to hire a head coach that's making more money than my top NIL athletes. I really do think, Boggsy, this trend could be changing in the future as we're starting to see all of these crazy $50 and $60 million buyouts that you mentioned, when this money could be going to paying players.
Yeah.
At some point, AD's got to be thinking about the pro model where athletes are making much more than coaches.
Mm-hmm.
And if players are replaceable every year in the portal, why can't coaches be replaceable?
Yeah.
Okay, that one's a little crazy. But if I'm hiring a coach, I'm going to be spending less on my actual head coach and more on my players, given today's climate that's changing by the minute, honestly.
Yeah. It's a really good point. And I think it comes down to something that we've talked about before. It's that when you're making these hires, like you know, if you want to work at LSU, you can come and work at LSU, but here's the pay. This is the contract we're going to offer you. If you don't want it, leave. Don't take it.
Not giving you 10 years.
Yeah, we're not giving you 10 years. I'm going to give you 4. And then every year that you have more than 8 wins, I'll re-up you. And the next for another year. And, you know, I don't want to get too more in the weeds with contracts, but I think that's going to start happening here pretty soon. I think the money is with the players as where it should be. And these coaches making these gargantuan buyouts and causing governors to hop in and make decisions where they don't need to be. And it's not even worth it, man. Just spend your money on your players. If you have a coach that wants to be there, have him there, pay him well, but don't, bend over backwards to give him a 10-year deal or compete against yourself. Oh, how many times have we seen that where athletic departments and ADs compete with themselves to re-up their coaches? It's just dumb. Like, don't do it.
I'm really curious to see what happens with these contracts at LSU and Penn State that had these major buyouts and see if we see a little bit of a difference in the trend or it's still going to be the same old, same old.
Yep.
We're going to pay whatever we have to and do whatever we can just to get somebody in the chair.
I think some of these mitigating things may start working. Let's say James Franklin gets a job at Auburn, let's say. Penn State's not going to be paying a lot of money in their buyout. Like, I don't know what they owed him, $40 million or something. I mean, it's like $10 million a year. Auburn's going to pay $10 million a year, or if they pay $9 million. So that's you owe $4 instead of $40. And I don't know, man. I think you're going to start seeing some more of these type of languages in contracts to help from having these buyouts that just crush departments and crush states. I mean, heck, Louisiana, it's crushing their state. All right, my next one is don't take yourself too seriously. You coach a sport and wear sweats 360 days a year to work. Get over yourself.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it just would drive me nuts, man. Like, I would always just come home and tell my wife, like, my coach is making such and such millions of dollars a year, and he wears team-issued sweats every day. What's he spend his money on? And you coach a sport. Like, you're not out there solving world peace or curing hunger or doing anything, like, really important. I mean, you're coaching a sport. And don't take yourself too seriously.
And don't have you've always got to be on, like, PR type mindset. And that's what I've loved about what Lane Kiffin's done, as you mentioned earlier. And maybe he's just a one of one personality-wise, but he doesn't take it serious. He has some humor through wins and losses. And, I think of for a second, you mentioned James Franklin. I think this is people taking themselves probably a little too seriously when it comes to, like, his PR reps, but he gets let go by Penn State, and the most typical thing to do, and probably the smartest from an audience and awareness thing to do, is, well, let's just do an exclusive interview on the biggest game day show for college football and sit down on the set of ESPN Game Day. And I'm like, man, that's either his reps or himself, everybody just taking themselves too seriously. It's like, we've got to have this one-on-one sit down. I'm like, there are so many things in the social media world today with content that I would have been like, hey, what's something we can show that we're going to have some humor about this and not take ourselves seriously after getting let go? And I don't know, I could probably think about 10 or 15 different things that would have shown him. He has this persona publicly of always being buttoned up and like he's in control of everything. I would have done something that doesn't seem out of like he's in control and done something just dumb and fun. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah. Could have gone a long way. I mean, he did make news out of Game Day. I mean, that stuff got aggregated. I saw it everywhere. It was all over my Apple News feed.
It's the number one place to be on. It's like, if you're doing PR comms, you're like, or as agent, you're like, well, this is where we should be to have this message. I'm just like, come on, let's get creative, people. Let's, I don't know, show a different side publicly.
Yeah.
Show a different side. I don't want you sitting on a desk answering the same questions and trying to put on the PR spin to look good for the next hire.
Yeah. Just don't take yourself too seriously, coaches. If you do, you're not getting hired at my school or place. It's just not happening.
We're probably not getting hired at our schools either.
No, never. No, we're those days are long gone. So here's one that's big for me, man. And this happened to me a couple of times where coaches do not respect the traditions of your program. Just don't shrug them off. Your fan base thinks they're important, and they should be to you too. Listen to the people who can educate you on how things have gone with the program. It's not beneath you. Just pay attention. Don't be above the fray. Don't be so arrogant. Don't have so much hubris that it just none of that stuff really matters. It does. It matters a lot to people who've sat there in their season ticket seat for 30 years. You know, they've seen a lot more than you have. So just respect what they've seen.
Listen, coaches, if you're working at my institution, you do not have to put your stamp on everything. You don't need to ignore history. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
It's going to be okay. You know, we've talked about it before and seen it. It's like Cracker Barrel or all of these other major rebrands from CEOs or head coaches or whatever it is that think they need to rejuvenate the brand by putting their own personal mark on it. It never works out, and these people can't help themselves. We've seen it with football coaches and traditions. My newly hired coach is not going to forget the history of these schools. That's happened long before they ever came to town. I can't stand that. You know, I've actually had some good coaches that have come in and have not trashed everything that's happened in the past and done their own, which has been refreshing. And it's like, well, how can we make this even bigger? It's something that's happening. Like, what can we do to build it up even more? Because when it comes to traditions, when you start turning them over year in and year out, it's not a tradition anymore.
Yeah. But like we talk about all the time, these guys can't help it. It's like they have a sickness that they've got to go in and change things up. They have to make it theirs. And I truly think it's mental illness. I really do. I'm not a psychologist, but we talk about it all the time. Or we would talk about it all the time. Some of these people just can't help it. They just can't help it. So I'm not hiring someone with those tendencies and those traits. It's just not happening.
Hey, it's not just head coaches that do this. I
No,
mentioned
it's
Cracker
not.
Barrel. I helped launch and I created a campaign. Again, this is selfish here. And a new comms person came in. It ran for a year. And you know what the new comms person did to the tagline of the campaign? They switched it up. They basically it had 3 bold sentences, and they switched line 3 with line 2.
Yep. Just to change it.
Just to change it.
Can't help themselves.
But the thing was, when they changed it, it didn't roll off the tongue like it was meant to be. There's a reason those words were done that way, and they can't help themselves. And it had already been printed on things all over the buildings.
Yep.
And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yep. Because they have a mental illness, dude. They can't help themselves. They have to do it.
So
I'm
ridiculous.
convinced of it. I'm convinced that it's a mental thing. And 80s,
then when they did that, coaches for recruiting were saying it in 3 or 4 different ways now.
Yeah.
Just like,
yeah,
do we know anything about branding, people?
they don't. It's just go in there and change things. I mean, I've had supervisors that have done that too, that have just come in and I just want to change things, so I'm going to change them. And for no reason, don't respect anything that's been done at your job, workplace throughout the years. We're going to do something new.
At that point, just kill the campaign. When you start changing the actual
Why are you even
lines,
running it? Yeah.
When you start changing the actual lines and moving things around,
yeah,
that's even worse. I mean, I hate it. I hate to see an actual campaign die that has a lot of legs, but when you start actually changing the words and the order of the words, like,
no sense.
GTFO, man, GTFO.
Yeah, I'm telling you. All right, I think that's it.
Well, Boggs, we've given all this free advice.
Yeah.
I think these consulting firms and ADs I think we've helped them when hiring their next coach.
Yeah. When are we going to get our residuals?
It's like Chris Rock said.
Yeah.
I didn't get no cookie in the mail.
Yep. When we get a cookie in the mail. They would be really smart to listen to us because, I'll go on a side here. Like when these people, these search firms are making these hires, man, they don't contact the people that really know. They probably can't because it leaks out. I get it, but like, why are you not picking up the phone and calling the athletic trainer? That should be number 1 on your list. Hey, what is this dude like? How does he treat his players? Do the players like him? Are they good with injuries? Do they listen to you? Trainers know everything, and they never get consulted ever on any of these calls or any of these hires. And I would be making calls to them, back channeling. I don't know how you do it. They obviously have ways to talk to people, but hey, we're here offering you advice that would help your department and help your coaches or help your department. And, it's free.
Yeah. Call the strength coaches.
Call the strength coach. Call the SID.
All of these people that really know the pulse day to day.
Yeah.
And at least you'll have some feedback. You may talk to some people that are still fully bought into this person.
Yeah.
The same way we all put 3 references on our resume.
Yeah.
The people that will say good things about us.
Yeah.
But do your research a little bit.
Just do your research.
A little bit
man.
more. Talk to the day-to-day people.
Yeah. It's kind of an aside, but I've only one time in my career, I don't know how many guys I've worked with that have been drafted in the NBA. It's probably 6 or 7. I've only had one GM reach out to me and say, hey, what are these guys like? Like, how do they do interviews? How do they treat other people? How do they treat members of the media? How do they treat you? And that should be the first call that a GM makes, I think. I mean, I'm biased, obviously, but it should be to the people who are around. Not only are you calling your SID, you're calling the trainer, you're calling the assistant coach, you're calling a grad assistant, on the basketball staff, you're figuring out ways to really figure out who these people are. And there's just not enough of that going on. Maybe, I don't think. I mean, I've in a coaching search, I've never been contacted about, hey, what's this person like? Or, and I dealt with these people every day. They were probably tired of seeing my face when March came around. Like, dude, get away from me. I don't want to be around you anymore. So, people don't do it, but they should.
Great points. Great points, Bogsy.
Yeah.
And you are not biased in this situation.
Never. Never biased.
Yeah, when it comes to draft and stuff like that, that's a no-brainer. Like, talk to the comms person for sure, because they can tell you pretty quickly how this person operates day in and day out, especially when you're dealing with media, which to me is a major interaction or relationship that can tell a lot of things.
It's just people skills, man. Like you said, you could really tell a lot of things by the way these guys interact with media members, because they interact with them all the time. All the time. I mean, I've mentioned this a million times. I would have players, they would talk to the media 4 times a week. If you have an All-American on your team and he's scoring 30 points a game, that's who people want to talk to. And the SID or communications person knows if they're good with the media or not. Just ask them.
If there's one thing to take away from this episode today, Boggs.
Yeah.
People out there listening, just call Boggs.
Just call me.
Just call him.
Yeah. We should start our own search firm.
He might be flipping pancakes on a Saturday morning. Just call him.
Yeah. I could be flipping pancakes. They're good, too.
He might be running 18 miles outside and his knees are just killing him.
Yeah.
Just call him.
Doing that, too. Yeah.
He might be making his own ice cream in the backyard after he's
doing that, too.
Grilled a nice dinner with protein and some good veggies on the side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're talking my language now.
This is the life he lives, people. Call him.
Yeah, call him. I got some time.
Time to wrap it up.
And that's another edition of No Longer Credentialed. Thanks to all of you listening, and if you like it, tell a friend and give it a 5-star rating on your podcast app of choice. Don't forget to check us out on social media at NLC Pod on X, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We'd love to hear from you. Until next week, keep grinding.